Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it? Worked it? Logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio with Neil Rapp. Here we go. Welcome to Ham Talk Live. Call in, let's talk. Neil's your guy. Ham Talk Live. Here we go on Ham Talk Radio.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 138. The VP6D Ducie Island DXpedition, recorded live on Thursday, October 25th, 2018. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight, we're joined by Glenn Petri, KE4KY, and Gene Spinelli, K5GS, and we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes. Last week here on the show, Russ Woodman, K5TUX, and the LHS podcast gang was here to talk about Linux in the Ham Shack. So if you missed that, listen anytime you want at hamtalklive.com or your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. A few announcements again, lots of things going on right now. So we do have a few announcements I need to get in here. My friend Kevin Zeri, KK4YEL down at Kennedy Space Center, wanted us to announce that the NASA radio clubs have a very special slow scan television event planned for Saturday at about 1000 Zulu. The ARIS and Russian international partners have enabled a special transmission of 12 images to celebrate NASA on the air. So tune in on 145.800. And for more about this, tune into my story on Amateur Radio Newsline, which comes out tomorrow morning at arnewsline.org or a repeater near you. So don't miss the special slow scan television event from the International Space Station. The t-shirts for Ham Talk Live, the Grid Square Be Yours shirts, we're going to go one more week and then we're going to get that order placed. So if you haven't ordered yours and you want yours, go to hamtalklive.com, click on the link for the schedule, and there's a link there for the shirts. And you can fill out the Google form, and then you can PayPal the money, or if you need to mail a check, if you don't do PayPal, that's fine. But this is the final week to place an advance order, and then I'm sure we'll have a few extras to sell afterwards as well. But if you want to make sure to get your size, get your orders in this week. And last thing, the ARRL Division Director ballots should be in your mailbox by now. So if you're an ARRL member in the Central, Hudson, New England, Northwestern, or Roanoke divisions, you should have a ballot. So make sure you vote. And those ballots are due back to Newington by November 16th. So be sure to check your mail and vote. And if you didn't get yours, let ARRL staff know, so that way they know that there's something wrong there and they can work with you. So don't forget about that. So we're going to talk DXpeditions tonight. Ducie Island's the big one right now, so we'll talk about that, and we'll give you a chance to talk to them live via satellite phone, hopefully, as long as satellite phone works. So get your questions ready to go. And after the interview, you can give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Or you can Skype us at Ham Talk Live on Skype. You can also tweet us at Ham Talk Live on Twitter. And I'll be back with Glenn right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that is best suited for your lifestyle. ICOM offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. See how you can make the most out of contest season with one of these transceivers. First, the ICOM IC7851, the competitive edge you've been looking for. Raise the bar and hear what others cannot with this flagship HF and 50 megahertz transceiver. It has reciprocal mixing dynamic range, crystal clear LO design, a spectrum scope, dual receivers, and digital voice recorder. The ICOM IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants, and just in time for contesting season. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent ones. The new ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. Featuring RF direct sampling system, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receiver, and dual Digicel. And then the ICOM IC7300 is changing the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. With RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. Be sure to visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
The early bird may get the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Thanks once again to ICOM for sponsoring the show tonight. They help bring you Ham Talk Live each and every week. Our guest tonight is Glenn Petri, KE4KY. He's been a licensed amateur radio operator since 1975. First as WN4CSH and then WA4CSH. Glenn spends his time chasing DX or participating in the major contests throughout the year, especially with CW and RIDI. He's been on DXpeditions himself, including ZL9HR and VK9MT, along with Gene Spinelli, K5GS, who we will hopefully talk to live on Ducie Island at the bottom of the hour. He is the chief pilot for the VP6D Ducie Island DXpedition, and his wife has excellent taste in what college team to cheer for, but just to show that I don't discriminate as a Kentucky Wildcats fan, yes, I've invited a Louisville Cardinals fan to be on the show. Glenn, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be able to represent the VP6D DXpedition team on your show tonight.
And we won't mention anything about red or blue.
No, we won't. But just real quick, my wife, Alinda, we're going to have a 35th wedding anniversary in a few days, so I can't thank her enough for her allowances for over the years here, especially here recently, to let me go on the 2 DXpeditions that I went on, because it did take a lot of time, a lot of resources, and I couldn't have done it without the help of her. You're a very smart man to remember to say that. So yeah, brownie points.
Exactly. Well, tell us how this DXpedition for Ducie Island came about, and the website and all the funding and everything about getting this one off and rolling.
Well, the VP6D DXpedition was formed after the 2017 International DX Convention out in Visalia, California. The people that organized this one also organized VK9MT, also TX3X, Chesterfield Islands, here just in 2015. So basically, what they did was they formed up a team with the team leaders. Gene being one of the co-organizers. The team leader for this is Dave K3EL, Les W2LK, and so what they try to do with our mission statement is we try to go to rare, semi-rare DX locations, entity locations. Basically, when you're starting to get in the wheelhouse of being in the top 30, top 25, you're in those areas where this team likes to try to organize their DXpeditions. And the funny thing is that after this was formed, what we determined was, because of what Club Log did to a lot of their statistics, it kept rising in its most wanted status. It was in the high 20s. And then as they started to do some research with the numbers, and the gentleman that runs Club Log started crunching numbers, it ended up being number 19 overall most wanted as far as Club Log is concerned. So we were very happy that this ended up being a top 20 DXpedition. And the last time Ducie was on the air as a DXpedition was with VP6DX in 2008. Sometimes you'll see some overlap of some people that have been somewhere before, but all of the team members that are on VP6D, this is their first trip to Ducie. One thing about it is that the Braveheart also went to Ducie in 2008, and that was their transportation of choice after they started trying to cull all of the opportunities to get to the island. The Braveheart was the choice, the best choice for this particular DXpedition, so they were able to use a repeat on that. One thing about Ducie Island is it's uninhabited. It basically is ran by the Pitcairn government. It's in a protected marine area, which means you have to do a lot of extra special things. And when it comes to these DXpeditions, sometimes the funding becomes more important because it's harder to get into some of these areas because of the protected status. And so it's in a protected marine area, which means it takes a little bit more for an operator of a boat, a ship, to be able to get in there. So after the formation of the team, the most important thing, obviously, was getting the license, getting the permission to actually be on the island, securing everybody's passport and credentialing to be able to get in through customs and so forth. It's about 535 kilometers east of Pitcairn Island. Another DXpedition has just stated they're going to Pitcairn here pretty soon. And Pitcairn Island has a historical context from the standpoint of the Christian, Tom Christian, Mutiny on the Bounty, that a lot of us have seen the movie and also read the book. So it kind of places it in an area of the Pacific Ocean that a lot of us can have visions of what it's like to be there already, just from those different things. Right now, the team is composed of 14 radio operators. I can go through those later if somebody would like to be able to go over the operators. Most of the operators on these DXpeditions, usually in the ones that are the most wanted, you're going to see a lot of people that have had prior DXpedition experience before. They come from a background of DXpeditioning, extensive contest experience. And so that's where our team pretty much comes from, is from people who have either done DXpeditions, large or small, or they're accomplished in the contesting world as well. And so equipment is one of the biggest problems with the logistics of getting all the equipment there. How do you get it there, getting it shipped there through customs, and then suppliers for the equipment. And we cannot thank the people that have helped us out with equipment such as Elecraft, the antenna suppliers, just everything that we can think of and I encourage everyone to go to the VP6D website and look at the people that have been supporters of the DXpedition from the standpoint of corporate sponsors. And those are the people that you see routinely supporting DXpeditions, whether it's ours, whether it's Herd Island, or anybody else that you can think of for good. Baker Island, the one that just finished. You're going to see the same corporations, the same companies that have stepped up each time to support DXing in the amateur radio ranks. And so try to support those people that support us.
Yeah, it's really important that you have that support. I know these things are not cheap, and it's really important to have all that equipment around so you can be ready to go and deal with things that may not work right and all that. You know, you can't just run out to the store and pick up something while you're on Ducie Island. So it's real important to have that. So let's talk a little bit about the funding of this. How did the funding go? How's the fundraising going? And tell us a little bit about that, and if people want to donate, how they can do that.
Well, they can still donate to the VP6D.com page. We'll be more than happy to accept any donation, large or small, and it doesn't have to be all that big. Corporately, if more DXers just chipped in a small sort of way, it could help these DXpeditions in a big fashion. I think the funding goal for VP6D, I was looking on the website, it has been met since the DXpedition started, but I believe it was the total. I have it right in front of me. The total of the DXpedition budget was about $175,000 was budgeted for the DXpedition to cover all of our costs, and what we were hoping to raise on the website was about 65. And according to the website, when I looked at it, it doesn't give a total amount, but we have exceeded what our goal was just through the webpage of $65,000. So anything that anybody gives beyond this is just going to help defray some of the additional costs that we incurred for shipment. The team is trying to pick up about 50% or better of the DXpedition cost, and so any of the donations that come in just help to defray that and help the DXpeditioners, because none of the monies that's donated by any of the foundations, clubs, or individuals go for airfare, go for the stay or food or anything like that of the teams while they're positioning and ready to go on the DXpedition. All of those monies go directly to DXpedition related costs. So the DXpeditioners themselves have to come up with a lot of money. Sometimes it's more than others, depending on where they're going, for airfare to get to where they're going to stage, to stay for the 2 or 3 days before and after the DXpedition in order to get equipment and other things sorted out, loaded on a boat or loaded on a plane, depending on where they're going. So all of those costs are absorbed by the DXpeditioners themselves. So anytime that there's any extra that can be left over to help defray some of the extra costs that the team decides to pick up on their own, it goes a long way. Trust me, it's not a money-making venture for any of the DXpeditioners. All of the money that's spent, still a lot goes out of the DXpeditioner's pocket, and so it's just nice, and it's very nice for the DX community to be able to look at the DXpeditioners and thank them for what they're doing, for going out and doing this by supporting them as best they can individually.
Well, that's an understatement, and we really appreciate all that they've done, and appreciate all those that are supporting the cause. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about how to work the team, and I'm just going to play a couple of clips here, actually. Monday night, I got on from home on the dipole at 10 o'clock at night on 20 meters, which was a bad idea to start with. And I could hear, but it was really weak. I couldn't get through, so kind of gave up quick. But yesterday, I ran up to the school shack after school and just thought, I'll see if I can have any luck. And I had them within 2 minutes. No more than got the radio on, set the split up, and was on the air and got them on the first call on 20 meters. So I decided, we'll run over to 15 and see what we get. And I get there on 15, and I have to work at it for a little while. But then I hear this.
Kilo Echo 4 Kilo Yankee, hey Glenn, 5-9. Thanks, yeah, well, we're getting some good numbers, really pleased with it, and thanks for all your support. Yeah, we hope so. We're shooting for that. 7-3, Glenn. Have fun. This is Victor Papa 6 Delta 5 to 15.
So I caught you working them. Just by chance.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. When you sent me that, I was so surprised. That was just great.
So I hung in there for a few more minutes, and this is how mine went.
7-3, Victor Papa 6 Delta 5 to 15.
Whiskey Bravo 9, Victor Papa Golf.
Whiskey Bravo 9, Victor Papa Golf 5-9.
Working split.
5-9 into Indiana, also Kilo 9 Sierra Oscar Uniform Club Golf.
Thanks, Victor Papa 6 Delta 5 to 15. Radio Yankee. Kilo Bravo 8 Romeo Yankee 5-9.
So I mean, there's some stateside stuff that's not that clear. I mean that they were just booming in.
Yes, they were absolutely booming in, and very quickly when I worked Steve yesterday, when you got that clip, I was just sitting there listening to him for probably close to an hour, and he just kept building and building in strength. And so finally, I just decided to give it a try. And so it took about maybe 5 minutes worth of trying. I didn't flip on the amplifier. It was just the 100 watts with the 10-element log that I have up about 60 feet. And it didn't take too long. I don't feel like it took too long, but it was very good to be able to speak to a team member. I've worked with him on the backside doing some testing with some things, so it was just very gratifying to be able to speak to a team member and express to them how good of a job that they're really doing, because sometimes when you're there and you're tired, you're fatigued, you're either hot, you're either cold, depending on where you're at, it's just very good to be able to have a friendly voice, somebody you know go say, hey, you all are just doing a bang-up job, just keep it up.
Yeah, and I had to laugh at the he's working the split, because Monday night I went upstairs, got on DX Summit, found out what the split was, put everything into both VFOs, had it all ready to go, and about a minute later I hear, he's working the split, and I'm thinking, oh geez, somebody's not doing this right, and then I look down and, oh, that's me. I forgot to hit the split button. I had all the frequencies in, everything ready to go. So it's been happening quite a bit. In fact, even saw a post a while ago. Somebody said we should start a VP6D drinking game that every time you hear he's working split, you take one. So I don't know. So they're working split.
Yes.
So we can remember
basically,
that. And we all do that.
Yeah, I mean, it happens to the best of us that we don't hit split button or something catches or we're trying too fast to get to where we're going. But as long as you recognize it quick, it's just recognized as something that happens.
And the other thing that's happening is FT8, new mode for DXpeditions, just recently that it started being used. And there's still some misconfigured FT8 stuff going on.
Well, what's happening is, and there was just I just received an email, something that's going to be going out to all of the editors, DX World, DX News, some of the bulletins and so forth. And what they have here is they have two camps. They have a sideband camp, a CW camp, and in the middle is a headquarters. And the two station camps are a kilometer apart. And so what they have is they have this infrastructure that they had to lay out in order to be able to send the data back and forth, in order to be able to get up to DXA, in order to be able to get to the logs and so forth, the way the computers are networked for logging. And so this network infrastructure it has just been tenuous. It has just been difficult for them to keep up. They've been drenched for the last couple of days, and I'm sure if Gene gets on, he will tell you that they just started drying out today from some torrential rains that they've had, some storms, a little bit of wind, but nothing that caused any damage. And so it's just one of these things where these networks are just they're not 100%. And so they're noticing a lot of dupes, a lot of duplicates. And what they're going to be asking is that if you've already worked them, just give them a chance. And I have been assured that there are no lost QSL QSOs. Now, some people are saying it shows up on DXA, but it doesn't show up in the log. Then vice versa. I have a FT8 17-meter contact that showed up on DXA. My call rolled over the internet on DXA just like it should. It registers on DXA as a band slot, but it's yet to be uploaded to the log. I'm personally not going to worry about it because it's just one of those things that in order for it to get to DXA, it had to go through a log, so it's somewhere. So I'm sure they'll work it out. And it's caused a little bit of angst among the DXers because number one, they want to see it on DXA, and then number two, there have been some FT8 QSOs that have not ended up in the log. There's also been some CW contacts that did not initially end up in an upload, and I think they've caught up with that because the network was down because of the rain that they were experiencing. And I think that was addressed in a statement that came out from the island today. Gene is able to send some things to Twitter, and I think you could probably tell when it's me doing things on social media, either Facebook or Twitter, as opposed to the statements that sound like they are coming directly from the island itself. So Gene does have the ability to be able to send those Twitter posts, and I think there was something that was sent out today about don't worry about the lost CWQs. They're there. They'll get uploaded. So it has been a little bit of a challenge for them, and my inbox has been overloaded with emails about the FT8, the DXA, and some missing QSO issues. The best I can tell you is I can't do anything about what is either in the log or not in the log. I can't check the log. I don't have access to logs. All I can tell you to do is if you think you have a good QSO, if you can get a snippet or a screenshot of it, save it. If you can print the FT8 string that shows that you got the Roger 73, keep it. After the DXpedition is over with, well after the DXpedition is over with, let the guys come home, unpack their suitcases, and then you can start, as our webpage very clearly states, if you think you have a busted call, a not in log, and you are sure that you made the contact, there is a mechanism for you to do an inquiry. And that's what we're asking everybody to do, is just be patient. And so there's a mechanism there to try to get you your queue and get you credit for it. And I'm sure that we have on the island, I know of 2 guys that are programmers. There's probably some other folks that are there on the island that are also IT equivalent. So it's not like this is something that's escaping them because of inexperience or inability. I think it just has a lot to do with a lot of issues with the infrastructure, the rain, the networks that they're having to use. And so it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that happen. And, all you can do is say, we're sorry for it, but we're marching forward.
All right. Well, I want to get to our break because we're expecting a call from Gene, and we don't want to keep them on hold with satellite phone calls. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back with Glenn and hopefully Gene live from Ducie Island right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Hey, honey, have you seen the PL259s anywhere?
No, I haven't. Come on, kids. Let's go.
There's just one place to go for all of your connector needs.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
A giant warehouse of connectors and adapters for every occasion. Thousands to choose from in every shape, size, and color. And they have antennas, soldering supplies, cables, meters, and more. Where do you go if you want to buy a connector at a fraction of retail cost?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
And this weekend only, take advantage of our special liquidation sale. Buy 9 solder type PL259s, get the 10th one for just 1 penny. They make great Christmas presents. And what better way to say I love you than with the gift of a PL259?
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Tower Electronics.
Hi, I'm Scott Cole, KB9AMM, president of Tower Electronics. I like the company so much that I bought it.
Tower Electronics, coming to a Hamfest near you or online at pl-259.com. And we're in the yellow pages under Amateur Radio Connectors.
My, wherever did you get that lovely PL259?
Tower Electronics, PL-259.com, or call 920-435-2973.
Do we sell PL259 connectors?
Join the conversation. Call us on voice with Skype at Ham Talk Live, or give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Now, here's more Ham Talk Live.
Copy 594 from Ham Talk Live.
Tower Electronics will be in LaGrange, Georgia this weekend on the 27th, and then coming up, Stone Mountain, Lawrenceville, Georgia, November 3rd and 4th, Montgomery, Alabama, November 9th and 10th, and Fort Wayne, Indiana on November 17th and 18th, or you can visit them anytime at pl-259.com. And Ham Talk Live's on the air every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here at hamtalklive.com. And be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we're hoping to get a call here from Gene here in just a moment. And we've got some of your tweets coming up, but we'll kind of hold off on that until we see if Gene can get through on the satellite phone. But we hope to have a report from him live, so we'll give him a minute or two. Glenn, one thing that we wanted to talk about was on the other end, on the user end of FT8. A lot of people are not configuring their FT8 correctly to be heard down there.
Yes, they need to make sure that they're using one of the latest versions of the FT8 program. I should have written it down, but I don't. But they can go to our VP6D.com page, and they will find the FT8 instructions there. The most important thing is to be in the Foxhound mode. If you're not in Foxhound mode, you're going to be causing a lot of inadvertent QRM. I imagine what it could do is if you thought you were parking yourself on top of their transmit frequency, the streams that they're transmitting out is you would just be blocking them from somebody that they're trying to work. So it's very important.
I think we've got Gene on the line here, so
okay.
Let's hang on. We'll come back to that. Gene, hey, welcome to Ham Talk Live, all the way from Ducie Island.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
All right, this is Gene Spinelli, K5GS, live on Ducie Island. So, Gene, I know you don't have a whole lot of time here, so tell us what's going on at the moment.
Well, at the moment, the rain has finally stopped. It's been raining here for about 3 days, and we've been heavily saturated, both outside and inside. The tents of having a little difficulty, but I think as of this afternoon, we're drying out. I'm standing on the northeast side of the island, staring out at the Pacific Ocean. The Braveheart is anchored about 300 meters from shore. We have 3 camps built. One camp is the central camp we call the headquarters, where we keep our computers and satellite uplinks. We have another tent called the single sideband tent camp. There are 4 stations in that camp, and then on the other side of the island we have the CW camp with 4 more stations. I am staring at the satellite antennas, and we have a 6-meter EME antenna that we've installed yesterday in a rainstorm, and we'll be working with that over the next couple of days. But it's been wonderful. The weather, other than the rain, is pleasant. It's 65 to 75 degrees, and sometimes humid, sometimes not humid. But the sun is always very hot. The consistency of the island is a lot different than the previous islands we've landed and done the expeditions from, being Mellish Reef and Chesterfield Island. those islands were comprised of crushed coral and some low vegetation. This island surprised me a little bit because it is it's about 3 meters above sea level and heavy vegetation, trees and shrubs. I would say consistent of what you would find in a jungle. So it's pretty interesting. Cool. There was a DXpedition here 10 years ago this month, and we found their old camp, and we're set up in one of their old camps, so that saved us a lot of work.
Oh, nice.
The boat crew is supporting us. So, yeah, it's really cool. The boat crew is supporting us. We have a couple of crew members here, 7x24 to keep the generators running and to keep the team fed. We have 14 men from, I think, 5 different countries, and we're operating 7x24.
All right. How are things going on the air? What are your best bands and modes so far, and that kind of thing?
We're on all bands, all modes. The pileups have been fantastic. Propagation has been wonderful. 17, 20, I would tell you, are the most active that I can tell you about. 40 meters, of course, at night. We made quite a few contacts on 160 already, and 80. So, those are the traditional DXpedition bands. The pileups have been relatively, how shall we say, well-behaved. Sometimes they get a little out of hand, but nonetheless, we're pretty happy with the way it's been going, the way the DXers who are calling us are following the traditional protocols for DX pileup. Probably the one question or one request that we have is we ask the people to stop, not to dupe us. There's a lot of people we know need this for an all-time new one, and they want to make sure they're in the log, so they call us twice. And that's kind of wasting our time and taking a contact away from somebody else.
Yeah, I was listening yesterday. I actually worked you guys yesterday and heard a lot of times that, they'll say, oh, we've already got you in the log. Here's the date. Here's the time. We've already got you. And so please don't do that again. So I know that's been an issue.
Yeah, I've been doing it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I said I've been doing this for a long time. I can understand somebody's enthusiasm for something like this, and they want to make sure they're in the log. This island probably will not be activated for another 10 years, so it's in demand, and we'll try to become very bored by our last operating day, which is about 7 days from now. If we're bored, that means the pileups has pretty much subsided.
Now, Jeff Wielgus, KB9BVL, posted earlier on Facebook, said, we're going to come up with a VP6D drinking game that every time you hear somebody call on your calling frequency, you take a drink. So we got to remind people that you're red and split.
Well, fortunately, I can't hear them calling on my frequency, so I guess I go without drinking.
All right. Well, Jeff, there you go. What advice do you have for people who are trying to get you? I just played a clip actually yesterday of both Glenn's contact on 15 and mine, and I mean it was clear as a bell. But what advice would you give to people trying to get you in the log?
Well, I think it's the same with any DXpedition. You have to listen. Just have to listen a lot, and listen a lot more than you talk, and try to understand what the operator is doing. Try to follow the operator's technique. Some in a split will move up slowly and work people along the way, and then work down the split slowly and work people along the way. You just have to learn what the operator is doing, position yourself where you think there's an open spot, and the operator will find you. I've done that a lot myself. It's a lot easier than sitting there calling and calling and calling. So you just look for what the operator is doing. And, of course, you have to do it when you can hear us. You'd be surprised at the number of people that will continually call even though they don't hear the DX very well. So you've got to play propagation. You listen for the loudest signals for your location, for your time of the day, and that's when you should be in here calling us, not when you can barely hear us, because we can barely hear you.
Well, I know you've just got a couple of minutes left here on the sat phone, but we did want to take a call, and we do have a call on the line here. So I believe this is Scott, yes?
Yes, it is. It's Kilo Zero Mike Delta, and I know Gene because he was my first contact this DXpedition on Ducie. Gene, I appreciate you hearing my call.
Yeah, hi, Scott. How are you? I remember seeing you in the log.
Yeah, no, I'm well. You guys are doing a wonderful job. I wanted to just say I'm really impressed, having worked you and listened to your pileups on 12 meters through 160. What a great job your operators are doing. I've not encountered a DXpedition where everyone is just so good, so calm, so logical, so patient with all of the callers. As best I can tell, you guys are well on your way to becoming DXpedition of the Year with your team. And Glenn, thanks for all your support with Gene and the team. You guys are just really incredible. My congratulations.
Thank you, Scott.
And Scott, thanks for your comments. We saw your comments on the pilot reports that we received this morning. So thanks for your comments.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being there and doing it, and safe travels home in a couple of weeks. I still see a lot of Twitter reporting today about people still excited to work you, so I think the pileups are going to stay deep and hungry for a while. Are you guys going to be on the contest this weekend at all by chance?
Yes, we are. We will be in the CQ Worldwide SSD contest. I can't tell you where right now, but we just made that decision about an hour ago.
Well, that'll be really exciting. And Glenn, I hope you can put that on Twitter. That's going to really excite the contest to have this zone available for the first time in a long time. 73, thanks again. Congratulations, Neil, as well, on a great show tonight.
Thanks, Scott. All right, Gene, I don't want to keep you much longer here. So I'll talk to Glenn a little bit about some of the QSL information, that kind of thing. But any last comments here before you take off? And for everybody that's listening, and that's great news about deciding to operate CQ Worldwide.
No, I think all I ask people to do is be patient and just be persevere, because that's the key in getting into a DXpedition like this that's in heavy demand. But by next week we'll be operating for 7 more days, at least 7 more days. Unless there's some dramatic change in the weather or some other emergency. We'll be here operating for 7 more full days, and that should give everybody an opportunity to get in the log, and especially with FT8. FT8 has been just amazing. When the other bands die, we go to FT8, and there they are. There's people calling us. So it's just a wonderful mode.
We've got one more call here real quick. Mark Brown, N4BCD, chimed in earlier, and we've been so busy we hadn't had a chance to get him, and I know he's been trying to get through here. So, Mark, go ahead.
Great. If Gene is still on the sat phone, it is just a truly a pleasure to say hello and to say that you guys have been doing an absolutely over-the-top, fantastic job down there at Ducie Island. I got a lot of contacts in the log. I know a lot of other folks do. And I just wish you guys safe travels. And, again, great job.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate the comments. And we also have to recognize the crew of the Braveheart. These guys are absolutely amazing what they've done. When you see the pictures, you won't believe it, what they put together for us. It's just wonderful.
I'm excited to work you guys or see how things work in CQ Worldwide phone this weekend, and I'm appreciating to Tom KE4KY for putting out there the DXA cluster and letting us know that there's another place to find our contacts in the log. And sure enough, I've been listening to the program tonight. I contacted you guys on 10-meter phone today, and honestly, you guys were 10 to 20 over 9 here in Middle Tennessee on 10 meters. at 4 o'clock local time. It was just amazing. And that contact is in the log there on DXA. So, yeah, I understand your concerns about trying to work you multiple times. We just got to be patient, and it's nice to know there's another source of information out there that we can get our contacts confirmed over OQRS too.
Okay, we're going to let Gene get off the phone here, but Gene, thanks so much for being here, and best of luck with the rest of the DXpedition and CQ Worldwide this weekend, and thanks so much for calling in.
Okay, Neil, thanks a lot. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the DX community. I did lose you, and I came back on. The phone, I lost the satellite, but I just called you back, and thanks a lot for the opportunity. We'll see you guys when we get home.
All right, thanks, and safe travels home. That's Gene Spinelli, K5GS, live on Ducie Island. Thanks so much, Gene, and 7-3.
Yep,
and Mark,
7-3, bye-bye.
And Mark, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, Neil, this has been one of those over-the-top great DXpeditions. I've got a matrix here in front of me that a whole bunch of boxes checked off. Still more to go, but these guys have been doing an absolutely fantastic job, and thanks for the opportunity to call in. And Tom, again, thank you for for mentioning that DXA as a web source for confirming our contacts.
Okay, thank you.
All right, 812. Oh, see you, Mark. Take care. 812-638-4261 is the number. We'll go a little overtime here tonight because we do have a few things we want to get in, but if you want to give us a call, you can. It's 812-638-4261. Glenn, before we get too far here, we were talking about configuring the FT8, and I think we got that pretty well taken care of, but let's talk about the QSLing information real quick here before things get away from us.
Yeah, VP6D.com. If you go there, there's a log search feature. All of the contacts that are there for the maritime mobile contacts that were made are there. It's very easy to navigate. And once you're there, it shows you how you can, and tells you how you can get your QSL card. Gene and company created some software that they've shared with M0URX and some other people, I believe, as far as QSLing. And so it enhances the QSL process for these guys that handle thousands and thousands a month. And so the online QSL process is very easily explained on our website, and it should not be very hard to get the card at all. If you got your card from TX3X, it's going to be the same procedure. So very easy to get the QSL, and the LOTW for most people will probably be about 5 or 6 months after the DXpedition is over with, and you can read the QSL policy there that the team has developed on the web page as well.
All right, very good. And Jim, KF4WLS, wants to know, is there a set schedule for listening in the general class band on 20?
Not to speak out of school as far as a strategy or anything like that, but obviously the pileups for these wanted entities can be the competition is very stiff. And so I think what they're doing is they're working down the piles. They're barely at their halfway point. If they say that they got another 7 days, they're reaching their halfway point on this DXpedition. You are probably going to start seeing shifts on the things that they do just a little bit more. I've been receiving emails from the RTTY guys. When are you going to do RTTY? Because so far on the stats that I have in front of me, and I can talk about that in a minute, there's not very many RTTY contacts in the log versus FT8. So hang in there, hang tough for the people that don't have extra class privileges. They started today. It's already been posted on social media and some other places, some forums. I believe 14281, they were listening all the way up there from time to time to try to get some folks in the log. And I think that you will see as the DXpedition progresses and the pileups actually start to decrease in intensity, broadening that out a little bit. Because if you went straight up into the general band, the pileups are still going to be the same. And so I think it's just a strategy to kind of lessen the pileups a little bit, and then move and adjust and vary what you're doing to try to get the whole spectrum.
Yeah, I know yesterday, my contact on 20 they were on, I think 14.185, and then it was 14.281 that they were listening on. So they were already in the general part of the band. So that's good news for those people who are doing that. Just because they're transmitting down there doesn't mean you can't work them. It's just, a very big split. So, let's see. We're trying to catch up here with all the tweets. This has been a popular one. Troy Simpson, W9KVR, says we got them today on 20 on FT8, first call, 17 on sideband. Very strong signal, better than anything we had during School Club Roundup this week. And boy, I agree with that, Troy. The School Club Roundup, the conditions were awful. And he said Fox and Hound worked really well. So thank you, Troy, for that. And we got Dr. Scott Wright in here. We got Mark in here. We got Jeff. And so I think we're caught up. So let's see. Anything else on the list here? I think we got it. So Glenn, anything else that we need to talk about here before we go?
Well, two things I want to cover. When I got the stats for where the DXpedition is standing at this point in time, at 1806 Zulu was the last log upload today, 1806 Zulu. 51,827 total queues on that last log upload is in the log. Now, DXA may show much more than that by now, but 51,827. 50% of those are USA. Well, that's a given because Ducie is right in the USA. It's right in our back door. European contacts are 25%. Asia is 13%, and then the rest of the geographical areas really start declining there a little bit. CW queues, 28,743. Sideband QSOs, 13,520. FT8, 8,910. That could be 16, according to my writing. So it's 8,910, we'll just say. RTTY, 646. So we're really hitting the bands hard. It has just been phenomenal with what I have seen. Other DXpeditions have done very well. But I tell you what, this one has just surprised me how quick, once they got on the air fully, Monday into Tuesday, how fast the QSOs were just adding up. The other thing I want to mention is we have an additional North American pilot. You can find his information on VP6D.com under the team section. That's Mason, KM4SII. He's a 14-year-old. He may be 15 by now, but I got to meet him up in Dayton this year. He's assisting me with some of the North American pilot duties, and he's an up-and-coming ham. Starting to see him in some of the contests. He's he's involved in one of the young ham activities for the youth. Up and comer there. Look for him in the future to possibly be the next big DXpeditioner in the next 15 or 20 years. I also want to thank our pilots from all over Africa, Europe, Japan, Asia. We have a pilot from Asia who covers the Baltic states, the Eastern European region, Oceania, and South America. So all of the regions are covered. They're sending information and data to me. And you go, well, what does a pilot do? Well, I'll give you a good short example. The Europeans, and also PISTA, HA5AO in Hungary, he is the webmaster of VP6D, has been helping me out tremendously. The Europeans are basically cataloging what the best times are for the bands, particularly on 12, 15, and 17 meters. And so after several days of seeing what the DXpedition is capable of, what the propagation is doing, they're narrowing down their times of saying, this is when you need to hit us. And that's what we're able to do as pilots, is funnel that information to the team so that they can make adjustments in the coming hours or the coming days. And so it's not that we dictate what they do, but we can offer them suggestions from the DX community about how can other regions or specific areas get into the log a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. And so by forwarding those kind of propagation reports firsthand to the team within an 8 or a 12-hour basis of receiving them, it just creates efficiency. And so I would encourage anybody, not only in the U.S., but anywhere else, to contact your regional pilot and provide them what you think are things that could help aid your geographical area of getting into this log a little bit quicker.
All right, all great information, Glenn, and thanks so much for making the arrangements to get all this going, and all your work, and spending some time with us tonight on Ham Talk Live. And it's just amazing. It's gone really well. I've heard nothing but great comments on how well the operators are doing, and how well things have progressed. And of course, conditions don't always cooperate, but you just keep fighting through it. And I think everybody's going to be able to get a shot at this.
Patience and persistence. That's the key.
Yeah, sure is. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap things up here tonight, but thanks for coming on, and I appreciate all you've done, and some good stats there too. And again, visit VP6D.com, and you can see a lot of those statistics and where they are. So great resource, great website as well.
Thank you very much. This has really been fun. I appreciate it. I've done some things over the internet on doing presentations on some of the DXpeditions I've been on, but this was really fun, and I'm glad you invited me to come on tonight.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. That's Glenn Petri, KE4KY, and Gene Spinelli, K5GS. Thanks to both of them for being on the show tonight, and everybody out there in cyberspace for calling in and tweeting in and commenting. And we invite you all back next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, when Ham Talk Live is back. And for a list of all of our upcoming guests, visit hamtalklive.com. And if you like Ham Talk Live, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen. It helps others find us faster. So this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375. Good luck on CQ Worldwide this weekend. And hey, we get VP6D in CQ Worldwide too now. That's some news. And of course, may the good DX be yours.